Hello everyone, welcome to Office of Online Learning. Today we're going to talk about discussion boards and looking at different approaches to discussion boards. So we'll talk about two different tools specifically to supplement student experience when it comes to discussion boards, and I'll also show some settings that you can add to discussion boards that look at restricting student access and different views of posts right within discussion boards. So the first two tools that I want to talk about, we've introduced Flipgrid already in the introduction, which allows face-to-face discussion for students that can really be used beyond an introduction. It allows for some of those nonverbal cues, allows students to see your face, see each other's faces, and there are opportunities to then use an emoji or use an image if a student is uncomfortable with showing their face. But another tool that we wanted to share is called Padlet. Padlet allows you to embed right into Blackboard, similar to Flipgrid, and I like to think of it as an interactive sticky note board. There's a variety of different templates that you may use, but you can see on the image on your screen, students can respond with different sticky notes using text, using images, using website links, using videos. There really is a lot of flexibility. Again, when it comes to that multiple means of expression, students can use lots of ways to demonstrate their learning, and it's just a really fun, different way to utilize discussion boards. So we wanted to share that platform for you. So next, what I want to demonstrate is the different options for the settings in a discussion board. So one of the settings that you can do is restricting viewing of other students' threads. I'm going to show how to set this up right within Blackboard, but you might want to use this setting if you want to ask students initial impressions of a video or of a case study. I know in my example, I'm going to ask students to come up with some strategies or brainstorm for students, and I want them to think of their own ideas and not preview what everybody else has said first. So that setting is really helpful, again, if you don't want students to get ideas or be swayed by someone else's post, if you want their post to be very fresh and clean. I always recommend, and I'll demonstrate this as well, for students and for myself to subscribe to a forum or thread. That allows you will get an email every time someone posts. It can be very overwhelming, but as an instructor and as a student, it helps to kind of keep things in front of your mind, and you can then be notified when a student post something. I do this especially for my Ask the Instructor thread, and I'll show you where that subscribe button is, but you can also enable that for students or not provide it. And then finally, you can prevent creating threads for students. I use this where if I have students choose what they would like to participate in, I create the 3 threads and the students then participate in them. So I don't allow them to create additional threads. So let's go into Blackboard and see what it looks like. Here I am in my course dashboard, so I'm going to go into weekly materials, and I want to add a discussion board in for week 1 because that was one of the ways that I was measuring my student learning. So I'm going to go into tools, and I'm going to select discussion board. So here I have a pre-created discussion board, but what I want to do is I want to create a new forum. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to call this week 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste my discussion board text in here. So providing my prompt, asking my questions, and giving my students their due dates. I'm gonna scroll down. I do want it available for my students. So here in my viewing threads and replies, if I click this button here, students must create a thread in order to view any other threads within this forum. So again, I want my students to create their own idea first before reading someone else's. I am going to add grading here. What is important to note is that if you have students not be able to see anyone else's thread before their own, it does not allow you to then have a student edit their own post. The purpose of this is so that students can't read what everybody else said and then go back and change their answer. So just something to think about. Here's the option here where we can allow students to subscribe to threads. So then students can subscribe to a specific conversation or a specific thread like their own so that they can know when someone asks them a question, or you can allow for them to just subscribe to the whole forum, so the entire conversation, so every student's thread, or you cannot allow for subscriptions. I like allowing them to subscribe to the whole forum. And then here you can see it automatically allows students to create new threads because that was the setting that I put on there. Another option, if I wanted to, it wouldn't be appropriate for this one, but I can just do standard view so students can see any thread at any time. Then it allows me to have students edit. And what I can do is I can also not allow students to create new threads. So therefore, if I wanted to create the threads and have them participate within mine, but I'm going to go back in and put it the way I wanted it over here. So they must create a thread. I click submit. And now I can link my week 1 discussion board into my week 1 content. So this is just adding additional information. So I'm going to paste my description again into my discussion board. And now if I scroll down, here's my week 1 discussion board right within my week 1 content.